Lock on!
Welcome to the Tokusatsu Corner with your hosts Nathan Graves 989, Nightshade 04, and Zero Master. We're on stage. Just try and stop us here at the Tokusatsu Corner.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Tokusatsu Corner, your bi-weekly dose of Tokusatsu. What's up? I am Zero Master and here with me as always is...
Nightshade, what's going on everybody?
As you can see, Nathan is not around again. No, his mic is not broken this time. He caught the flu and unfortunately could not join us tonight. And we don't have a special guest because it was literally last minute, so... People get sick, so get well soon, Nathan. Get well soon.
Get your ass back here. It's not the same without you.
How much you want to bet instead of being sick he's actually just playing Fire Emblem?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, so anyways, welcome to the 55th episode of the Tokusatsu Corner. We've got a big show today. We're going to talk about Kyoryuger later on here. But before we get to that, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for the Tokusatsu News Corner with Nightshade.
I have nothing but resentment for all of you.
From YouTube's World Tokusatsu News Headquarters, this is the Tokusatsu News Corner with Nightshade 04.
And thank you for that wonderful intro. Now for the news. New information has been revealed for the upcoming Kamen Rider Foes novel, under the title Kamen Rider Foes, the Amagawa High School Graduation. The new novel takes place between the end of the TV series and the events of the movie War's Ultimatum. In the novel, the reasons for Gentaro to become a teacher would be revealed as he struggles on what he wanted to be after graduating. A new Zodi art, which would be appearing as they prepare for their graduation prom, as it declares he wants to destroy the event. No why, but okay, sure, why not? Added to that, a new rider is about to appear with the name Kamen Rider Icarus. And it's time for the Kamen Rider Club to move and save the day. I have to wonder why they would make a Kamen Rider novel.
Well, they've been making a lot of Kamen Rider novels, but so I assumed that Foes would eventually get one because they made that O's one, they made the double one. The only thing about this is, my first question is, at the end of Foes, all the Zodiacs are gone. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, the switches were destroyed as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, the switches were destroyed.
I guess with the Foes driver still being around, there's always the potential of more switches because they were made by that one. What are they called?
That one crazy
Foundation X. So who knows? Foundation X may have made a whole bunch of them, and there were just a bunch we didn't see in the show. So who knows? Maybe that's the reasoning. Second off, I think this is awesome. After seeing Double, Kabuto, O's, Den-O, all those get novels, I was hoping for a Foes novel. And even though I'm not going to be able to read it, I hope it and the O's novel get translated, and the Double novel, because the Double novel is about Kamen Rider Cyclone. So, I think this is really cool. I hope they do more than just make them novels. I hope they make the equivalent of what an OVA would be for these shows.
A
30-minute special or something.
A series of short stories?
Well, like a 30-minute special or something. Sort of what the Super Sentai movies are like? They're basically just long episodes without commercial breaks. Something like that. But then they'd have to get the crew together and production, and they're already working on this year's stuff, so who knows? I don't know. We're going to be seeing Foes still, so. And just something else I'll just say, Brock asked to watch Foes with me, so I'm going to be rewatching Foes soon.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Which I'm excited about, because I love that show.
That show is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I really like that show.
Anyways, I will let you continue on with your news.
Thank you! Next up in our news, Tokusatsu Sentai Dakarinja Jasmine aka Ayumi, announced that she is expecting to have her first child in June. A 31-year-old actress stated, "Both my husband and I, as well as our respective parents, love children, so we were really excited when we found out. We also felt relieved since it took a while for me to get pregnant." It sounded really weird coming out of my mouth. Though the child's sex is still unknown, her husband, A-san, has already bought unisex shirts for the babies. For the baby. I'm sorry. So yeah, one of my favorite Sentai actors is having a baby.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy for them because having a kid is a big responsibility, but it's also a big joy. So the only thing though that I should comment on is because probably now she's not going to be in the Tokyuger crossover movie, but I mean, her character in Kyoryuger wasn't. She only really became a Kyoryuger in the last episode, so it's not a huge loss.
Yeah, still being short Ranger.
But hey, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that movie? Anyways, we're happy for her. Hopefully there'll be a healthy birth and they'll have a healthy baby and everything will be great. And now this makes me want to go watch Deca Ranger.
And finally, to premiere on the 7th of April, is a new live-action Super Sentai parody under the title Kenpai Senshi After 5. Cheers, Warrior After 5. The story revolves around members of Golden Warriors, Treasure 5, who fight against an evil organization around Akibara. The comedy drama picks up after hours when the members have a beer after fighting evil all day. In fact, the show was taken at a real Noimaru Akibar Sakibar. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but whatever. The cast lineup would be Morai Ryota as the Red Warrior, Kato Kazuki as the Blue Warrior, Kikiwa Yu as the Pink Warrior, Kimura Akihiro as the aging Yellow Ranger, and stand-up comedian Tobin Aga Tsubasa as the Green Warrior. As everyone could remember, Toei had produced 2 seasons of Hikanen Sendai Akiba Ranger, a Super Sentai parody which focuses on 3 unofficial rangers as they fight and protect Tokyo Akibara Otaku shopping district from evil Mashina and the Otsu Corporation. So it's a real throwback to that.
Yeah, there's tons of Sentai parodies, and this one's interesting because, like, you remember the episode of Akiba Ranger where they got smashed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is sort of like, it sort of sounds like that's what this is gonna be. Like, something similar. Like, maybe they won't get smashed, but it's like a Sentai based on a Sentai team based around going to the bar and pouring back some brewskis. That just sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, that just sounds like a real day for any Sentai, any superhero after a long day, no matter how noble they look while they're fighting crime. They eventually have to be human sometimes. They have to, like, just shoot the shit. And, you know, I'm totally fine with that. We're only human after all.
Exactly.
And that's it for the news this week. These articles and more were brought to you by JE Fusion, the Japanese entertainment blog. So go to JE Fusion for tokusatsu, anime, music, movie, gaming, and entertainment news. Back to you, Zero!
Breathe. Alright, so thanks for that news corner, Nightshade, and you didn't screw up that much. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I have to hand it to you. So
you know how to get around the Japanese.
You did alright. Alright, so from here on, we're going to go to the Toku Music Moment, and for this week, since we're talking about the end of Kyoryuger, I think it's only fitting that we play the ending to Kyoryuger, which is Mina Atsumare Kyoryuger, otherwise known as Everyone Gather Kyoryuger, by Hiroaki Kogashima.
Awesome.
And we'll see you... it's not Hideaki... Oh, that's the writer. Okay, the artist is Hideki Takatori. Sorry. And we'll see you after the Toku Music Moment.
Yay! Enjoy the song, everyone!
Get up and dance like dinosaurs. And that was the ending to Kyoryuger. An awesome song.
I agree.
And speaking of endings, it's now that time of the show where we talk about Zyuden Sentai Kyoryuger.
Yay! What's that?
That was the previous Sentai that finished back a couple weeks ago. I think it was February 16th was when it finished. Or no, wait, it was the week before. Yeah, it was the week before. I remember. Interestingly enough, it finished the day after Super Mega Force got leaked by Nick. Because you remember the episode was out on Nick's website before it hit TV the next week. And I think the same day they announced Power Rangers Dino Charge. So the final episode of Kyoryuger hadn't even aired, and they already announced Dino Charge. So even though Kyoryuger's ending, that's something to look forward to in the future. But anyways, Zyuden Sentai Kyoryuger. This Sentai will probably go down as one of my favorite Sentais of all time. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was actually surprised how well it was.
Yeah. So let's start off by giving our initial thoughts on the series. I thought it had a really good run all the way through. I did stop this series, but I only stopped it for so I could catch up with Wizard, and because we had to talk about that. And when I did finally get back to it, it was the exact same feeling as when I started it. So I did stop for a bit, and then I had to marathon the second half. I don't know. If I'd watched it all the way through, like I normally do, usually what happens with Sentai is I have to stop so I can catch up. Obviously, so I can catch up with other things, but I kind of wish I hadn't done that now, because it was really good. Like, the story was good. It didn't overstay its welcome. The characters were awesome. Considering there were so many characters, I don't know how they did it so well. Like, there's literally, I think by the end of this, excuse me, I think there's literally 11 Kyoryugers, one of them being movie exclusive, so,
yeah.
Well, but still, like, 10 of them, like, it's ridiculous. Now, the main 6 are the ones we follow the most, but still, 10 goddamn Rangers. When was the last time?
One America.
When was the last time they did that? Like, SPD?
Yeah.
SPD had 13 Rangers?
Mm-hmm.
But in SPD, only 7 of them actually mattered, so... Okay. So... when we were starting to hear stuff about Kyoryuger, what did you think?
I thought it was gonna be a ripoff of Kyoryuger or any other dinosaur one, because I was thinking, oh, they're running out of shit to do at this point. There's no way they can pull this off. And then when I was watching it, I was like, oh, they're actually not doing that bad. I mean, for once, the Pink Ranger's kicking a lot more ass.
Yeah.
It was surprising for me, because the Pink Ranger's just like the eye candy of the series. And she manages to hold her own quite a few times, actually. I
think it's safe to say that there isn't a Ranger that I didn't like. I liked everyone, even the Spirit Rangers. I liked the Spirit Rangers. Sure, I thought Kyoryuger was a bit of an asshole, but there was a reasoning for his assholeness. Sorry. And it actually provided a really important point that nobody had thought of at that point in the show. Because I don't know, like it's each ranger has their own thing. So I guess since we're talking so much about it, let's talk about the cast. So first of all, there's King or Daigo, who he's personally my favorite. He was my favorite. He was just so full of energy. People call him King because he's the coolest guy ever, and he doesn't back down, and he's full of bravery, and he was just the perfect Sentai Red for this season.
Indeed.
Nothing to say about King?
I mean, what can I say that you haven't said?
Pretty much, yeah.
There's really nothing more I can add on to that. He was a kick-ass character with a bubbly personality. I mean, that wasn't a bad thing. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Red Rangers who, like, take so little seriousness as to being the leader of a team of superheroes in spandex, but, you know... plus they have guns. Guns kill people.
Guns that are also their changer, which... That's amazing, because normally I don't like buying weapon toys, but when the changer is a gun, I have to buy a weapon. So it sort of forced me into it. But, okay, so that's the Red Ranger down. He's crazy. Though I will say one thing, his shirt rip moment, where he rips the shirt off, is not nearly as cool as the one in Lost Galaxy. I just don't... Sorry, Daigo's not that ripped, so it didn't feel as cool. Anyways, so that next is Ian, who is the black Kyoryuger, and is basically an all-around ladies' man, and is an amazing shot, hence why he's called the hotshot hero. I liked Ian. He was suave. It was hilarious whenever Amy would, like, bat him over the head for being a sexual deviant. And he did have a lot of character and backstory too, because he lost one of the villains. I forget his name. Agalon. Agalon killed his partner. So, not like a girlfriend. I mean, like his best friend, his partner in crime, sort of thing.
His lover. His gay lover.
No, it's the guy is a playboy. I don't think that he is into guys like that.
He is a closet homosexual. I see that time.
Okay, he doesn't fuck bitches nightly like Gokai Silver does in fucking Garo, but he probably does off screen. This is a kid show, remember? So, but yeah, I really liked Ian's character. He was more than just a shallow playboy. They actually gave him some depth and some character, and I thought that was really cool. And he gets one of the few. He gets like a golden weapon upgrade. I can't exactly remember what it is, but he's the only one who gets like a golden weapon upgrade. And Daigo gets Choryu Carnival, but he's the only one that gets a special weapon upgrade, which I thought was really cool. And do you have anything to add for Ian?
Not really. Again, most of the stuff that needed to be said was said about him.
I'm sorry.
In a nutshell, that's alright. In a nutshell, he's a playboy superhero. That's actually he's basically Tony Stark.
Essentially, except with a lot less alcoholism. And not quite as rich. Anyways, that leads us to going from a playboy to a guy who's in his 30s that everybody just called an old man, Nobuharu, otherwise known as Kyoryu Blue, the guy who's super crazy strong, and he likes to make old man puns. Stuff like, this maze has made me realize you're amazing. Or like, the Nile is not just a river in Egypt.
Ha!
At least once per episode, he had to make a bad pun, and I thought that was awesome. But with Nobuhara, he was originally going to be like a lawyer or something. I can't remember, and his sister's, or his brother-in-law, I guess, his sister's husband, went ill and died, so he took over their family business, which was basically doing odd jobs. So he's basically been a father figure to his niece, in place of her father, and he's goofy. He's silly. I think definitely his character. Normally, the Green Ranger is the goofy one, so that was a little weird for me because if you remember, like Doc was goofy, and well, I guess Guy was goofy too, but still, it was weird to see it as the Blue Ranger because the Blue Ranger is usually the cool, collected one, and that's what we got with Ian. Well, not maybe Ian, but actually Blue and Green reversed because it was the Green Ranger was actually the more cool, collected one. But anyways, so Nobuhara also falls in love with one of the villains too, which we've seen this before in Sentai, but I thought it was interesting regardless.
Yeah, it's he's a more of the down-to-earth character. He has his flaws, but you know, he does his best under the circumstances that are given to him.
As well as being able to make puns constantly.
Really horrible puns.
They're amazing. I've screenshotted many of them.
My favorite one was when I took a screenshot of some guy doing a fishy face, and I call it for Mystic Force, and then I called that the Mystic Face.
God damn it. Alright, so speaking of the role reversal of the stereotype, our Green Ranger, Soji, is a high schooler who is also a master swordsman, or on his road to be a master swordsman.
Because most Asians are swordsmen.
At least one in every 5 is a master swordsman or a master martial artist. Come on, they're Asians. Anyways, somebody call all the racist bases for sorry. Anyways, so his father runs a dojo, and he basically, of course, learned it sword techniques from his father while also developing his own. Not only that, he's been learning more techniques, not just from him, but he also learned sword techniques from Torin as well. So he basically is a jack of all trades swordsman. He doesn't just stick to one style, but he does have his own distinctive style for standard combat. Also, his parents are divorced, and his mom tries to turn him into a fashion idol in one episode. Because, okay. But Soji really, also, he's pretty dense about what women think about him, because one of his best friends from school, I forget the girl's name, but she basically has like a huge crush on him, and he doesn't even fucking know it. Because high schoolers no recognize shit, so...
The shonen characters don't recognize shit.
Exactly. Swordsmen don't need lovers. Oh god. That's terrible.
Bleach all over again!
So, Soji actually did have a lot of episodes about himself too, but I feel like of all the main 5, he had the least development, but I don't feel like we missed anything about it. What was developed about him was basically what we needed to know. So yeah, Soji also is probably my second favorite, tied with Amy, because I don't know, I just like I like the sword guys, and I like green's my favorite color, so I was a little stereotypical on that one, but I liked his growth a lot. So okay, so with that, we're on to Pink, Amy. or Amy, or it's Amy, because that's the way it's spelled. They have English names, like Ian, Amy. I guess the other ones aren't. King, I don't know. So Amy, she was, or Ami, whatever, she was the rich girl who wasn't spoiled, which I thought was awesome, because I'm tired of spoiled rich girls.
If I were a rich girl.
God damn it. She, even though she was rich... God damn you. Nightshade, I'm gonna slap you.
Go for it.
Okay, no. So, Amy, yeah, she also, despite being a rich girl, she spends as much time as she can not being a rich girl, reading manga, romance manga, working as a maid in a cafe, and being really good with her feet. If you know what I mean.
Foot jobs? What the fuck?
That was what I was getting at. No. Though I bet
You're a
she is.
sick motherfucker.
What? Okay. Just because the actress is 17 doesn't mean she ain't legal. For me, because 16's legal.
In kindergarten, goddammit.
Shut the fuck up. Anybody under the legal age is in fucking kindergarten. Anyways, she also, it isn't revealed till, like, later, and this sort of, like, was weird, that she, like, has a thing for Daigo, and we only find out about it because, Yayoi, or whatever her name is, I think, yeah, Yayoi,
Cares.
she has a thing for Daigo, and she mentions it, and then it becomes a thing. That was one of my main things with the show. I'm like, the romance was just like, what? Where did that come from? But, yeah. I, as the solo girl in the cast, well, until Yayoi came in, she held her own pretty well, as a Pink Ranger, and she was a lot more interesting than usually Pinks are. Which is good, because, I mean, we've talked about this before, like, usually, if
They're the eye candy.
when you think Pink Rangers, even if, like, say you go, the last Pink Ranger we had before this, which was, Gokai Pink, she wasn't really, you know, a character I would say, oh yeah, she's my favorite, or she's one that I really, that I can get behind, but, like, there are good Pink Rangers, like Mudge Pink, so, but, and this is another example of a Pink Ranger who, excuse me, a Pink Ranger who actually has development and we actually care about, so, I was really glad they went that route, and it makes her a really interesting character, and she doesn't have too much development either, but, again, she has enough. We basically have enough to where we understand her character's growth and everything, so. Alright. Do you have anything else to say about Amy? No. No? Okay. I seem to be saying everything that your thoughts are.
It's okay.
Okay, and then we've got, okay, this name is going to be tough for me to pronounce, Utsumi Maru. Otherwise known as
Orochimaru!
Not quite. Also, otherwise known as Uchi, he's Kyoryuger Gold, and he was originally being controlled by Gold, and he broke through. Jeez, I'm having trouble speaking today. It's hilarious when you had better speaking than I did today.
Yeah.
No offense, but so yeah, he was originally being possessed by Gold. He broke free. Originally, he didn't want to be part of the team because he's like, I don't know if I can accept you. When really deep down, he didn't know what the fuck was going on, and Amy pretty much figured out right away that, be like, you really want to be our friend? He's like, no, I don't. Okay, I do. And his whole character development was because he was originally a samurai from, like, the Edo area, you know, that era that gets brought up in Tokusatsu all the fucking time. It's like, hey kids, do you know anything about Japanese history? No. Well, you know now.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe!
Okay, so anyways, yeah, he's from the Edo era, so he's not used to things here. So that's basically what his character development was, getting used to living in the 21st century. He does have an episode with a kid where he basically teaches a kid not to be, you know, a spoiled brat by his overprotective parents, and yeah, usually I'm a huge fan of Six Rangers, and I do really like this guy, though I don't like him as much as other Six Rangers. Like, I definitely like Guy and Antonio a lot more than I like Utsumi Maru, but I thought he fit the character, I thought he fit the role great, and plus his sword is amazing. His sword is really cool. Anything for Utsumi Maru? No?
Nope.
Okay. Let's just forget the Tokusatsu Corner. This is the Zero Tokusatsu Corner, because I'm the only one
The
talking.
Zero Master Hour, because
Well,
you're doing all the work.
I'm just trying to get through all these goddamn characters.
And then we got the American.
Whoa, we're not-
He's America.
Okay, so now the additional Rangers, because 6 wasn't enough. So the last of the human ones, or there's 2 of them, there's Yaoi and her father, which both end up being Kyoryu Violet. And her father, Dr. what's his name? I forget.
Dr. Announcer of the show.
Yeah, he's the voice of the changer and all the beast batteries and all the crazy sounds. He recorded all those sounds, and it's funny, when he transforms, he says the sounds anyways, but when he uses the gun, it still says them anyways.
Yeah.
I love the voice of the doctor guy. It's awesome. And then his daughter, Yayoi, is the Kyoryu Violet, who takes after him because he has a bad back, or he has bad joints, or whatever. So sometimes all the time he gets overzealous about his poses and everything, and it causes him to constantly
Throw at his back.
Because he doesn't realize that he's fucking 50 or 60. So Yayoi takes over for him as Kyoryu Violet. Yeah, so there's that. And then we have the 2 Spirit Rangers. We have let me just see if I can remember his name. Trying to remember his name now. Ramirez, who was Kyoryu Cyan, or Kyoryu Cyan, as they said. Which, it was a little weird because it was an American actor, and I know that it's a Japanese show, and a lot of things have to be done that way, but whenever he had a line that was in English, it was said very awkwardly, and I think there's a reason for that, obviously because it's shown to a Japanese audience, so you can't say, oh look, hot dog, ooh, hot dogu, is what you guys think, they don't fucking know what a hot dog is. They need more syllables. They need more vowels. Anyways, Ramirez was cool. He didn't do much in the series, but he was in almost all the battles that the Spirit Rangers were in, and his dinosaur, or Voltosaur, was taken over by a monster, so that he had his own little storyline there, which is cool. Then we've got
I love how he transforms too. Like his fat goes away.
yeah, well, actually, the suit bounces up, goes boing, and then goes.
I know that's what's supposed to happen, but I just find that kind of funny.
Hey, again, I'll say it. If a kid can grow 3 feet, in Turbo, I can transform into a skinny guy. And I have done it. I have a movie where I do it, or a special where I become the Red Samurai Ranger, so... anyways, so yeah, fat guys are Rangers too. Moving on, there's Tessai. I think it's Tessai, yeah. He was Kyoryuger. At first, he's incredibly hard-headed, because his attack is a headbutt. And I didn't like him that much. Like, he was, like, I understood why he was an asshole, but you see this character all the time, so I got used to it. But, like, at first I was just like, fuck, shit, and then, like, near one of the episodes, they explain something that totally makes sense. If you remember, when he showed up, everybody passes his test except Daigo, except King. The reason he fails is because he has no weakness. You never hear of that as being a weakness of somebody. Like, in true fact, he passed the test with flying colors, but he can't earn the abilities of Kyoryuger because he is too powerful. He has no weakness. He has no buffer. Basically,
he is an untamable beast.
Essentially,
I can understand how that could be really scary.
Essentially, and it's interesting because you never think of that when you like. We all like. I thought King was awesome, but then when that episode came out, it hit me. I'm like, yeah, he really doesn't. He's not afraid of anything. He doesn't really have a weakness. Like, how the hell do you get him? And that entire thing was about Daigo figuring out what his true weakness was. And having a weakness makes you stronger. So, that just, because we're talking about Tessai, those were really good episodes. Those are, like, some of my favorite of the series, because how, like, Crows and I have talked a lot about stuff recently, and he stopped watching Kyoryuger because he didn't like the fact that Daigo was pretty much this like unstoppable killing machine, essentially. And after I saw that, we talked about this recently after I watched that episode, and I said to him, well, things change as the show goes on. You'll see that he's not actually that unstoppable killing machine. He's like, oh, well, I might have to give it another watch. Because Crows didn't really like Kyoryuger when it started, so I don't know how he feels about it now, but basically, I guess you could say we like characters like, you know, we tend to like characters like Captain Marvelous and King, because they tend to be these really flashy, amazing heroes that feel like they have no weakness. But even Captain Marvelous has his weaknesses, so that's what I thought when the show started, and when they did this, it showed us what his true weakness was, and it made him a better character. And that's how you do good writing for a show. Do something that somebody wouldn't expect. If you can write this all-powerful character, it's like Kamina. Kamina's not invincible. He fucking dies. Spoiler alert.
Well, if you haven't seen Gurren Lagann at this point, you deserve spoilers.
Yeah, it's fucking 5 years old by this point. No, 7 years old actually. So Kamina dies. He dies in the first third of the series of Gurren Lagann,
which sucks. But at the same time, he is a stepping stone for a real protagonist.
Exactly. It sucks because he was my favorite character, but I understand why he died. He was too powerful to be kept alive. And this is a different way of doing that. Instead of killing off Daigo, what they do is basically they give him a weakness. They make this guy who seems like the most powerful ranger we've seen in years. He actually does have a weakness. It just isn't out in the open until it gets explained. That's a really cool way to develop your characters, and I applaud the writers of this series for doing it that way, because you don't see that often.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, Tessai was okay. He didn't really have much development after that, though he does have a descendant who looks exactly like him and is the right author of a popular manga that both Amy and Lakiro like. So that's the Rangers. There's actually one more, or two more actually. The last one, and in order to talk about this, I have to talk about we have to talk about. I'm saying I because I'm the one doing most of the talking. We have to talk about Tori. basically the Zordon of the series, a giant bird. Yeah. Who's good with the sword and guides the Kyoryugers on their way.
I found it fun that he was one of the Rangers. It kind of takes me back to, again, Deca Ranger, where, you know, one of the mentors is actually a Ranger.
It actually has a
really good.
Yeah, it has a really Deca Ranger feel, because he eventually becomes Kyoryu Silver. I mean, when I saw this series, I'm like, they're probably going to make him a Ranger. That was my thought.
I didn't think they would. I thought he would be like, he would fight, but I didn't think he would become a Ranger. But I was like really happy when he did. Because I'm like, oh my god, he's a Ranger!
For being a mentor, he actually has a lot of backstory too. Like, he was originally one of the bad guys, but he had a change of heart when he came to Earth. And they actually use that against him because there's an evil Torin, like an actual evil Torin that comes in later on, and that's when he gets his powers. So, so he's unnaturally, like, he's become like a guardian of the Earth, but by his own accord. He changed his ways, and when he became a Kyoryuger, I thought it was interesting because basically one of the bad guys was able to become a hero, and I thought that was really cool. Now, there is one more character we have to talk about, which was, there is one more character in the series who ended up becoming a Ranger. That would be Daigo's father, who is on a mission to find out the melody of the planet. Yeah, near the end of the series, he outright murders Torin.
Yeah, he just kind of, stabs him with his magic flute or something like that.
Yeah, and he takes over the powers of Kyoryu Silver, which is interesting because basically because he has the abilities of the melody of the Earth. My first thought was that's how he can become Kyoryu Silver, because he doesn't need the approval of the dinosaurs. The Earth approves of it. Therefore, it can be any of the Kyoryugers. He could fucking kill any of the Kyoryugers and take their powers. Essentially.
And that's what makes him scary.
That's
because in the end, he is justified to kill all the Rangers to find out this planet's secret. And it's a noble quest, therefore the Earth thinks, oh, this is a good thing. Let him murder everyone.
Essentially. So, it's a bit of a spoiler for us to say this, but you're getting spoilers if you're watching this anyways. Yeah, he outright murders Torin and takes his power as his own, as Kyoryu Silver. Eventually, we find out why he killed him. It was for a particular reason that made sense. But damn, so near, Torin just became Kyoryu Silver 3 or 4, 5 maybe episodes ago, and then he's already dead. But the thing is, he knew he was gonna die too, because he gave his Torinity saber to Soji, because he'd been teaching him the Torinity strike or whatever it's called, which is another thing for Soji's character. So, also with Torin, we get to see him human once, in a human form once, throughout the show. That's when he's trying to negotiate with Soji's mom. I understand why they did it. He actually looks pretty cool in human form, so I have to give them that. But Daigo's dad, scary motherfucker.
I'll say.
Alright, so that's the good guys. Now for our villains.
We have a fuck ton of villains, don't we?
So let's talk about the important ones first. So there's the Sorrowful Knight Aigeron, who is basically the General of Sorrow. There's Joyful Knight Canderella, who is essentially, she's the General of Love. And then there's Dogold, or Raging Knight Dogold, who's the Guardian of Rage and Anger. And they're basically our main 3 villains of the series. Canderella, basically, her whole thing is just making humans happy and stealing their joy. she sings a song like 3 or 4 times throughout the series. It ends up being Davos's melody, and I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Plus, Canderella's human form is adorable.
Yeah.
She's cute. So, and then there's so Igaron. He's the one who killed Ian's best friend, and his whole thing is just to make people feel sad, and it gives them sad power to their base. Basically, their base is powered by human emotions, and they need a certain amount so they can bring back their Lord Davos. So that's his. Basically, he just spread sorrow. And then there's Gold, who had a lot of stuff at the start of the series. Essentially, he is living armor, and he absorbs people and adds their abilities to his own. So, Gold, essentially, he originally had Itsumi Maru, so he gained Itsumi Maru's thunder abilities. Later on, he takes over another general guy, Endolf, I think his name was, who was the guardian of resentment, and basically starts taking on parts of his personality and whatnot. The only problem with Gold is he doesn't have a permanent body. He has to keep using people's bodies to stay alive. He does have actually a really fitting end, which I thought was really good, because he had a lot of development. Canderella and Igaron do have a lot of development too, but a lot of theirs is near the end of the series. And then there's Lakidio, who doesn't really collect energy for everybody, but he has a bag full of goodies, and one of them is the water that makes the monsters grow. And he is obsessed with the same manga that Amy's obsessed with. He's a cat. That's all I can say. He doesn't have much purpose in the show except being... He gets herded around a lot. But he does play some tricks on the Kyoryugers from time to time, which is interesting. And then you have the main general, Chaos, who has the power of all 3 of the emotions. But he doesn't become part of the series, really, until it's getting close to Davos's resurrection. See, the castle they're in, all the emotions they've collected up from humans are being powered to bring back Davos. Their real master. And Davos is... Essentially, he's... Every time I look at him, I think he's a villain from either Maji Ranger or a villain from Kiva. Did you get that vibe?
Yeah, kinda.
Like, it kind of felt like that. I was like, is he a Fangbearer?
Yeah.
So, Davos is essentially, he's... What? According to this series, he was the cause of the extinction of the dinosaurs. So, the first time he shows up, even though he's not in his full form, the Zyudenshi or the Voltosaurs are all, like, they don't know what to do. Like, they're scared of him. Because this guy is the shit of the villains. He's the most powerful, and essentially, like, he can fuck some shit up, even in his primitive form. So you have to be careful. When he does fully revive, he's quite a force to be reckoned with. But they've been building this guy up and up and up, and I feel like he was menacing enough. But by the time he's in the show, the series is nearly over, and I'm just like, well, that's a cool-looking villain, but he isn't going to be doing much, because there's only like 5-6 episodes left. So, like, we're not talking about Boredran or anything here. We're talking about a guy who was basically built up as this giant villain, and he's in the last portion of the series. He was a cool villain, but I thought everyone else who had actually had development was a lot better, but this was one of those Sentai seasons where they have a Grand Master that they build up and he comes out at the end, so it's a cliche even in Sentai, so whatever. It happens. Do you have anything to say about the villains?
No, not really.
No?
I mean, I'm sorry, it feels like I'm saying nothing, but
It's fine.
the villains were, in a nutshell, the villains were cool.
Yeah, they were very well developed. We don't usually get super developed villains that often, so
I think they're stepping up their game, or they were stepping up their game for this. Like, they wanted to pull out all the stops.
Okay, so that's the characters and the villains. That's a long list of them. So the story basically was about, of the series was basically about dinosaurs plus humans and being brave. And that's pretty vague, but the story was basically how to grow as people and with dinosaurs and take down Daybos, the Daybos Legion, so that we don't have another Dinopocalypse, basically. Which, it was a pretty solid story. It was Sentai storyline. Not anything, like, groundbreaking or anything. The episodes, like, the development was really what made the story good. And, I think they did a good job. It wasn't super serious like Go Busters, which I think was good because, well, we'll get more into that when we're done here, but I thought the story was well paced, it was well done, and it was really cool. It really made the characters developed, and I think they did a good job with it. The writers knew what they were doing.
Yeah. I like the fact that we get more, it feels more like a prehistoric, Deca Ranger series more than anything else. And it works surprisingly well, especially with all the Rangers we get and all of the new Zords and combinations we get. It feels like if SPD were to make any changes, I'd say they could follow that formula and, you know, keep it there. Instead of giving us Deca Swan. Or not Deca Swan. Deca Cat!
SPD Cat Ranger?
Yeah, SPD Cat Ranger. No, it's a swan. Fucking
swan. Okay, so, like, the acting, we talked about the acting and the characters. We talked about the story. Let's talk about the ending. It was intense.
We live intense!
Like, it was... No, normally with a show like this, normally, like, when we've had other Sentais that were, like, super, super awesome, amazing, like, for instance, Gokaiger, I thought the ending of Gokaiger wasn't nearly as awesome as particular episodes in the series. I didn't get that feel with Kyoryuger. Like, I thought the ending was fantastic. It brought everything to the table. That's one of the advantages of having your villain come out at near the end of the series, is now you can make a big struggle, which is what they did. Because there were so many Rangers, there was a lot to do. Because not only were they trying to destroy the planet, they went into space, and they went into hell. They were trying to fuck Earth like 3 different ways. Trying to get it in all its orifices. So the villains knew what they were fucking doing. And the heroes really had to prove themselves. The motif throughout the series of the melody, I still don't get it. I get that, like, singing, whatever, like, melody has been the whole thing of the whole series, like, The enemies, whoever has the stronger melody is the more power. It gets to ridiculous levels, though, when a character who was dying comes back to life. I know we talk about this all the time, that characters who are dead should stay dead. But here, it's just like, you know what? I give up, is basically what I said. The thing is, let me rephrase that. When it happened in this series, I was more okay with it than when it happened in Foes. Because in Foes, that was just really, like, the main, like, at least, because in Foes, Kengo had a fucking goodbye letter and everything. He was dead. And then, in the last 5 minutes, hey guys, guess what? I'm not dead.
I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet.
At least in Kyoryuger, they didn't wait for the last 5 fucking minutes to bring back a dead character. There was one character who did stay dead, though, and that was Torin. He did stay dead. So I applaud them for doing that. Yes, they had to bring one guy. Probably the only reason they brought back Kyoryuger Gold was because they need him for the next crossover movie. That's what my thought is. But I'm okay with them bringing him back. Normally I would not be, but I'm okay with it. The whole melody thing is interesting because the villain's melody was stronger, they could still use their weapons, but they couldn't transform. Which gives us really, really cool unmorphed fights in the last couple episodes. Like, crazy good. Like, you get to see the character's real skills, like Ian's, like, gunmanship and Soji's swordsmanship, and how strong Nobuharu really is, because he's fucking strong. And Utsumi Maru fights Dogo basically unmorphed as in a true sword fight, like samurai, like they are. So, and it gave Dogo the dignified end, which I thought was really, really well done and really put together. When we get unmorphed fights that are really well done, it's fantastic. Of course, eventually they get their powers back, but not right away. I love how Daigo basically takes on the day boss all by himself and pretty much wins the day against day boss. Everybody's doing their own thing. Like Torin and the Spirit Rangers are trying to fight off the villains in hell. All the six main Kyoryugers, excluding Amy, are all trying to take on the villains on Earth. King's dad is essentially just making sure is taking care of, chaos, and Amy is assisting Daigo until he throws her out of the floating space castle. And then there's Yayoi and her father basically taking care of the giant monsters who are attacking. By the way, something I forgot to mention, there's an episode where there's tons of giant monster fights. Like, the entire episode, most of the episode is giant monster fights, which is really cool. Like, that's what this series is about. They have tons of really, really cool episodes. Like, normally, if you want to see a giant monster fight with tons of monsters, normally you gotta get something special like the 199 movie, or you get something shitty like in Power Rangers when they cut footage together of monsters from different sources fighting one Megazord, and it's all stock footage cutting. So I thought that was really cool that we got a lot of like giant monster brawls in this one, because normally you don't see that, but outside of movies. So that was really cool. But the ending is really good. I think it's a good book ending. Again, I don't understand the romance. Like, it just came out of nowhere until Yayoi mentioned it. But, you know what? I'm not going to rag on it. The ending was fantastic, and I'm going to miss this show.
And now we gotta deal with trains.
So, I guess for the final thoughts, we should start. You know what? You haven't said much, Nightshade. You give us your final thoughts on Kyoryuger.
My final thoughts on Kyoryuger. It was a nice throwback to one of my favorite Sentai series, Deca Ranger. And while it may have taken some notes from Deca Ranger, it certainly managed to make it its own. With the unique Rangers, the great Zords, the very well fleshed out villains, and these superb fight scenes, morphed and unmorphed, though those most of the time go off without a hitch. But it just seemed to work well. And the morphers were phenomenal. I love my morphers when they're weapons. I know that's debatable between everyone else, but they're my most favorite when the thing you transform into is also your primary source of weaponry. So you're basically sure not to lose it. Because it's hard to lose a big yellow gun that shoots dinosaurs.
Well, as soon as I heard about the Gabu Calibers or whatever they're called, I wanted one right away, and I have one. I just haven't, though. I have neglected to collect Zyuden batteries.
I have one too.
I don't have that many batteries. I only have the 2 that came with it, which I'm going to rectify that come con season so I can buy some more, because I opted more for Ranger keys last year than buying these, and then I don't want to miss out on getting at least the main Rangers. Zyuden, so I'm definitely going to start collecting those. But yeah, anyways, do you have anything else for your thoughts on the finale? Or the series in total? Sorry?
This is... I know it's not a perfect... I know it's not like a really great review, but in my opinion, this series is getting a 9.5 out of 10. This was like a huge step up from what I'm normally seeing, especially since that last show involving the questionable villain that might have been dead but was dead already but kind of wasn't dead, and Enter had his final Ranger suit, and it wasn't that good. It had its good moments, but it didn't have enough for it to carry me to like, oh, I want to see this again.
Well, the one thing I'll say about Go Busters, since we're talking about this, is it made me a fanboy of Ayami Masaki, aka the girl who played Escape.
Yeah.
God damn it, she is so hot.
Oh yeah, I'd tap that.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? She's fucking hot, man. Anyways, anything else, Nightshade, that you want to share?
No, that was... I love this series, and I'm bummed it has to go, especially since we have to be introduced to fucking trains. Fucking trains, man!
I don't think it's gonna be that bad. Anyways, I guess I'll give my final thoughts on Kyoryuger. I really liked Kyoryuger. Somehow I knew when it got announced that it was going to be a dinosaur season that I was going to end up liking it, because the dinosaur seasons tend to be really good. But even factoring that out, they did a fantastic job with this season. I've mentioned, like, you know, some of my favorite episodes being the test with Kyoryuger, the giant monster brawls, episodes where there's lots of development. This series got it right. It didn't overstay its welcome with story like other Toku shows do. Fies. But it was perfect for what Sentai is capable of, and I enjoyed it very much. I'm kind of sad to see it go, because not because I don't think the next season is going to be good, because we've seen a little bit of it so far, obviously, and I think it's okay so far. But just because, like, Kyoryuger was just, it was like, I have to say it's like Gokaiger. It was so good that I don't want it to end. And you know what? I even, like, this might be slander to some people, but I kind of think it's better than Gokaiger. I think it did a really good job with what it had. It wasn't boring. It gave the characters lots of development, and it was just a fun ride the whole time through. It didn't need to be super dramatic, because a show doesn't need to be dramatic to have a good story, and they did a really good job with what they had to make the show amazing. And I can't recommend this series enough. Like, if you watch Sentai and you haven't seen this series, watch Kyoryuger, because it's one of the best, in my opinion, that I've seen. And I haven't seen a lot of Sentai, but I've seen enough Sentai where I could say this is one of my top 10 Sentai seasons of all time. And I don't take stuff like that lightly. So that's essentially it. Kyoryuger was awesome, and I've seen a little bit of the new season, Tokusatsu. We'll be talking about that next time. And while I'm not super excited about the premise of trains either, so far it's been okay. So we'll see what happens with this season, and how it goes. So I tip my hat to Kyoryuger, and I look forward to the future with Tokusatsu. And that's the discussion, I guess. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we move on?
No? I've said my piece.
Alright. Well, that's it. You can check out Kyoryuger from both TV Nihon and Overtime. So check it out if you haven't. Smoke if you got 'em. Sorry. I just felt like So, alright, so now it's time for the advertising portion of the show, where we whore ourselves out immensely. And to start, if you'd like to watch Super Sentai and Kamen Rider subtitled in English, you can check out TV Nihon. They aren't same day or next day like Overtime and Acer are. They do take a week, but their subtitles are usually much more detailed. And they also work on a lot more formats, such as PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and I'm assuming PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I'm not sure. And their formats are they're easily convertible. You don't have to worry about having third-party programs for that. They're easier to manage. But if you want speed for Super Sentai, check out Overtime subs, as well as the previous Kamen Rider seasons through them. They usually are same day to next day subs. Or you can check out Acer subs for the current season of Kamen Rider being subbed by them, since Overtime decided they don't want to do it this year. And Acer subs is built up of people who work at Overtime, so it's the same thing, basically the same quality you'd be getting with Overtime, just with less staff. So yeah, you can check them out. If you'd like to stream Super Sentai, you can check out Super Sentai TV on Facebook. Or if you want to stream Kamen Rider, you can check out Henshin Fever on Facebook. They have a huge catalog. Both of them have a huge catalog of Sentai and Kamen Rider subtitled in English. If you'd like to watch Power Rangers, you can watch Power Rangers Super Mega Force every Saturday at 12 p.m. on Nickelodeon, at 12:30 p.m. on on 12:30 p.m. on YTV. Currently, there are 3 episodes out as of this recording on Nick. There is also this weekend was the premiere of Super Mega Force on YTV. So Canada's a couple episodes up behind, but that's okay. You can also watch the episodes on Nickelodeon's website and Hulu if you live in the United States. If you're outside of the United States, you can always check it out when it hits Netflix. Also, Netflix has all seasons of Power Rangers up to Megaforce. So if you missed some of the previous seasons, hit up Netflix. Or you can buy the first 20 seasons of Power Rangers on DVD from Shout Factory. Either through their mega $600 DVD bundle, or you can buy them in seasons. They also have Big Bad Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, and other series coming as well, including Ultra 7. So check out Shout Factory for your Toku DVD needs. And so that's that stuff. If you guys have questions, suggestions, comments, Toku trial submissions, which we're getting back to soon, you can send us an email at tokusatsucorner@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook at tokusatsu-corner. Follow us on Twitter at Tokusatsu Corner. Or follow our individual Twitters at ZeroMaster, at Nate Graves 989, and at, I think yours is, what is it, II Nightshade II?
Nope, it's Nightshade 04 now. It's just Nightshade 04 now, because I finally got my Twitter account reopened.
At Nightshade 04. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
So yeah, you can follow us on those various social media. Also, if you're interested in Tokusatsu toys, check out CS Toys Japan and Hobby Link Japan at HLJ.com. Two awesome sites, two awesome distributors of Tokusatsu toys. And if you want to get your hands on Power Rangers merchandise, check out Toys R Us, your local Toys R Us. Also, you can subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out Nathan Graves' channels, his Nathan Graves 989 channel for updates, Let's Plays, and whatnot. You can check out his other channel for the Nathan Graves Show. Check out Nightshade's channel, Nightshade 04, for various fandubs and other projects. Do you have any updates?
Right now I've got some stuff from the, right now, the Ruby fandubs are on kind of hold, so that way I can get lines from people. But I am currently going to try and get some people for some new projects. It's not going to stop the Ruby fandub thing that I'm doing, but it's just sort of something to provide content, so that way people are like, oh, you're not dead. But it's also at the same time, I like the current thing I'm doing.
Right,
and
right.
I hope that, everyone likes the things I'm going to try and put out too. It's in my opinion, it's a pretty cool thing.
Right, awesome. Alright, and check out my channels. First off, ZeroMaster LP for my Let's Plays and my show Power Plays, where I play video games with my brother or a friend, and we just chill out, hang out, and I yell at the screen because I keep losing. Or you can check out my review channel, ZeroMaster Reviews, for Zero's Maverick Hunting, my video game review show. My anime and tokusatsu vlog and movie vlog reviews, and my Toku toy review show, Henshin Time. I recently posted both the Super Mega Force Legendary Morpher review and the Super Mega Saber reviews. So check those out if you're not sure if you want to buy the American toys, because I go over almost every aspect that you can use with the toys. So check it out. Speaking of check things out, you should also check out 91.8 The Fan for two shows. First off, our friend Bobby Henshin, aka Samurai KH2 show, Henshin A Go-Go, where he plays Asian music and talks tokusatsu. And then you have Nightshade show,
Out Before Dark. I am on from 12 to 4 for California time. And 3 to 7 for the New Jersey time, or Eastern time, or whatever you want to call it, where I basically do stuff. Watch it. It's fun. I swear.
Alright. And check out 91.8 The Fan for several other shows, including the shows we mentioned, and other friends like Crow's show and whatnot. So there you go. As well as, you should check out our sponsor, Game On. Game On is a retro game site and shop owned by our good buddy Chicken Wings. He's willing to make deals with you. He's a fan of retro games, and he likes to talk. He likes to talk and sell games to people who are fans of retro games. So check out Game On Facebook and their eCreator page, and check them out. We here at the Tokusatsu Corner support Game On, because when you game hard, you game on. And when you're done listening to the podcast, check out the website you're on, rivercitygamers.wordpress.com. We have some great new content on the site now. I do reviews here. We have many other game reviews, toy reviews, tokusatsu reviews, food reviews, you name it. We currently have a new series started called Plug and Play, which is a review series based on both gaming peripherals and oddware. So if you want to see some weird gaming stuff, check out Plug and Play reviews, made by the people of the River City Gamers website. And that's going to do it for the Toku Corner this week, our 55th episode. Next time Nathan should be back. He apologizes for being sick. Somebody in his family was sick and he caught it. It happens. People get sick. And next week we will be talking about our initial thoughts of the first few episodes of Resha Sentai Tokyuger. And already the way people are spelling it, Tokyuger, is pissing me off, because that's not what it is. Anyways, so that's what to expect next week. We're also going to eventually get back to Toku Trials. Because of the way the show's changed, it's harder for us to do it, but we will work something out so that we can do it more often, and yeah. So anyways, for the Tokusatsu Corner, I'm Zero Master.
And I'm Nightshade.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace out!
Trains.